Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Bunny or Gun Bunny, and this channel is about my journey through guns and cosplay. And today I'm going to be telling you a little bit of story about fishnet stockings. What does that have to do with guns? Well, it's because of a lesson I learned at my first ever shooting competition, which was InRange TV's CQB Brutality 2024, which I just went to the 2025 one, and so I thought it would be a cool time to bring this back up, of why fishnets, which I'm wearing now, oh my god, are not tactical. So if you've watched my channel at all, you probably know that I like wearing fun outfits. I don't know, I think they're fun. I think you guys enjoy them, I enjoy them. But one of the things about that is that a lot of people will make comments about me getting injured, which I actually haven't. I've gotten a few scratches and bruises, but you know, it's whatever. But basically outfits you wouldn't think of as being that useful for what I'm doing, for these obstacles, for being in the wilderness. For me, I like them because they give me range of motion and I feel sexy and I think they're fun to wear. And I'm pretty sure they're entertaining, so fuck that. Like, you know, whatever. And generally I am of the opinion of if I like it, I'm gonna do it. And not really care what other people say. But there is one thing that I did learn from my first ever competition, which is about fishnets. Now, fishnets are pretty much a staple of my wardrobe, you know, in general. I have many different cut types and colors, etc. My wardrobe changes drastically depending on my mood, from, you know, anything like this outfit to dressing like a fairy tale character, but, you know, generally kind of switch between gothic, alt, punk to, you know, fairy tale-esque. And my costumes and cosplays tend to be more revealing. Now, if you are going to be doing stuff like crazy stuff in ridiculous outfits, this is probably the video for you. I had arrived at this competition. I originally was planning not even to compete at CQB, just to kind of go and hang out, but then my mentor convinced me to compete. And, you know, we pull up in the desert, and so I decide, I like cosplay, this place is somewhere that allows cosplay, let me do a cosplay to fit in, and because it'll make me feel more comfortable. So I show up in my demon cosplay or succubus cosplay, which is these shorts, like these kind of like shiny leather shorts, fishnet stockings, a black bra with a mesh shirt over it, some red shibari in the shape of a pentagram, and then horns, which I have not done that cosplay since because I don't know how to put the shibari on myself. It's kind of a pain in the ass. And I'm really excited. It's hot out, but, you know, it's gonna be fun. But within the first 2 minutes, stuff starts to go wrong. On my first stage, my second shot off, I get one shot off, and my gun jams. And we clear it, and I do it again, and my gun jams again. Pretty much within, you know, the first 3 minutes of my first ever competition, everything's going wrong. My gun is not working. This is the gun I've practiced with. It is the gun I feel comfortable with. It is not a time where I feel experienced enough to really just be like, one, to be like, oh, I'm just gonna go fix the issue, or even just like be like, oh, I'll just use a pistol or whatever. But thankfully, even though this went wrong, my mentor had brought an extra gun. I don't remember if he brought it because that gun had been jamming before, or if he had brought it for another stage. It was chambered in 10mm, thankfully, and worked pretty well, which is the Glockenstock, which is a mainstay and a staple of my channel besides, you know, my tits and bunnies and hedgehogs. It is definitely, like, I don't know if it's a meme, but it's a big thing on my channel, my Glockenstock. Everyone thinks it's ridiculous. I use them in competitions. I love the gun. I'd also started my love of stocked pistols, so it was kind of like, you know, the fate or the universe being like, hey, I'm gonna jam your gun so that you switch from, you know, the Banshee, like a, you know, PCC to a stocked pistol, and this will start your journey, your love of stocked pistols. So that, you know, so I'm feeling good. You know, I'm not shooting very well, but I'm being safe and I'm having fun, and that's the main point anyway. And I'm actually able to use the Glockenstock fairly well. It's lighter than the Banshee, so I'm feeling really confident until we get to the stage with a horse. I'm trying so hard not to make dirty jokes about this right now. Okay, Glock, it's okay. You couldn't, yeah. I'm interrupting the video to tell you really fast about my Patreon. Now, if you don't know, my channel is not monetized through YouTube and I don't do sponsorships. So this means that my only means of support for my channel is actually through my Patreon. There are multiple different levels with different types of extra content and perks that you can get, all starting at just $5. I would personally really appreciate if you joined it. I have trying to build a lovely community there, and I would love to see you there. If you are not a fan of monthly subscriptions or just don't really want to do Patreon, that's totally fine. You can always support my channel by liking my videos, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Other ways you can support my channel, of course, is through my PO box. I have a tactical gear wish list, as well as always being open to messages. I think I have an Amazon wish list somewhere too if you want to get me something off of that. This shirt was off of that, which is lovely. I'm also always open to messages. If it's like, hey, I want to get you something for cosplay. There's some cosplay makeup I've been wanting, or there's tons of stuff. You're always welcome to message me. I have tons of social medias, which will be on screen now. So thank you. And please enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, so we get to the horse stage, and sorry, my bro's so uncomfortable. Okay. So we get to the horse stage, right? And I'm running towards it. I get onto this horse, and it's basically just a barrel upended with a horse head. And so I'm getting onto it, and I'm shooting around the horse, the unicorn head, etc. Right? I'm shooting, and I have, the shorts on, and I have the fishnets, and I'm shooting, right? And then once I think I pour out, right? I hand off my gun so I can get off the horse safely before clearing it, because it's, or I clear my gun first. I don't exactly remember, but I hand off my gun, and as I do, I feel something like burning on my thigh. And I look down, and there's a cartridge stuck under one of the, I have to pull up my skirt to show you. See this is the fishnet? It's stuck like this in under the netting of a fishnet. And this is hot brass, because you can see, I don't know if you can see fully, but there's a burn right here. I have a scar right here from the brass, and before anyone's like, oh my god, you got a scar from a paper cut. I have this kind of condition. But yes, so I have a brass burn on my inner thigh right here, and a scar. And instead of just hitting me and falling off like normal brass would in that situation, because I'm like this, right? So I should probably lower the camera, but I'm like this, mounted on the horse. So it should have bounced off my thigh. In any other situation, that's what it would have done. But because of the fishnet, it somehow magically got stuck under the fishnet, which it's a feat of its own that it somehow got itself tucked in, which is kind of insane that even happened. The trajectory and all of the amounts of physics that has to go right for it to get underneath it is kind of wild. And it left a burn, but thankfully I was actually able to complete the stage safely. I hadn't even really noticed until afterwards. It's a combination of adrenaline and also being a masochist, I think. I also have chronic pain in most of my body since I was 12 years old, so I have a pretty high pain tolerance in general, and so I tend to not notice things like that, which is why I'm able to throw myself bare-skinned into gravel and be like, yeah, whatever. But I hadn't noticed, and so I thought it was really funny. I was like, oh, that's a burn. And so I patch it up and, go about the rest of the day. When I think about fishnets not being tactical, I would normally think of them being oh, they're gonna get caught on things, which has been an issue in a recent video I was testing, which actually is what brought this up, is that it was getting caught on, I slung a gun and the fishnets were getting caught on the gun. But no, my biggest issue was not the fishnets getting caught on stuff and tearing or dragging me back, not, anything like my gear getting tangled in them and having trouble pulling it up. It was a hot piece of brass that somehow lodged itself into my fishnet, which is just the weirdest, it's so funny to me, and left a small little burn on my thigh. I was in a very interesting introduction into the world of competitions and guns, because I was sitting there no, I love this. I'm gonna continue to do this. This is hilarious to me. Fuck it, let's go. And that did not discourage me from doing crazy things in crazy outfits at all. In fact, it has just kind of made me like, I can safely handle a gun while doing this, and even if something does go wrong, like I get a bad brass burn, I'm able to continue to safely handle this gun, and not only that, but continue to shoot. Which to me, I know is, I think, something that people think about with their outfits, like, oh, but what if you get injured? You might, or brass hits you, whatever, you might shoot yourself or whatever by accident. And like, I have evidence that that's not an issue. So one, that is that addressed, but as well, it's kind of reassuring to me that I'm like, okay, that's kind of badass. I know I can do that, but also I'm not concerned as much. I can just have fun in the way that I want to without having to worry about all of this stuff. I mean, obviously, like I could sprain an ankle, but you could do anything. Again, I'm very good at risk assessment. If I'm going to ride a motorcycle, I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to wear all the protective gear. I'm going to wear leather. I'm going to, whatever. But this isn't riding a motorcycle. Anyway, this is all going to say that if you're going to do ridiculous things in ridiculously skimpy outfits, be a masochist. Yeah, that's the message of this story. Bye!